Good evening. Today we're going to be looking at the calculations for the balance of trade and the invisible balance and the balance of payments. If you notice, I have at the bottom here all of the formulas that you need to calculate all three of the calculations, and I have four here that we can use to practice on. So the first thing we're going to calculate is the balance of trade. And we notice here the balance of trade is the visible exports minus the visible imports. And so we're going to click on the cell that has balance of trade, and we're going to calculate the balance of trade for the first year. We're simply going to use the formulas, and so we're going to cut equal sign, click on the visible export, and we're going to subtract the visible import and click enter. If you notice, the answer automatically comes into the cell and it is a deficit for the balance of trade. The second calculation we're going to do is the invisible balance for year one. Again, the invisible balance is invisible exports minus invisible imports. And so we're going to click on the cell that says invisible balance and calculate the invisible balance for year one. The formula is equal. I'm going to click on the cell that says invisible export, and we're going to subtract the invisible import and click enter. And you would notice that the invisible balance has a surplus. There are two formulas for the balance of payments, and the first one we're going to use is total exports minus total imports. You click on the cell that says balance of payments 1, and that's the first formula you're going to use. And you're going to simply put equal sign, sum, open brackets, and we have to total our exports first. So that's going to be our visible export plus our invisible export, close brackets. Then we have to subtract our total imports. And so we're going to open brackets, we're going to click on the visible import, and we're going to add to that the invisible import, close brackets. Once the formula is completed, you're going to click enter. And we notice that the balance of payments is a surplus for formula 1. The balance of payments 2 formula is simply plus or minus the balance of trade plus or minus the invisible balance. And so you're simply going to click on the cell that says balance of payment 2, and we're going to put in that formula. Now we've already calculated balance of trade and invisible balance, so there's no need to recalculate that. Equal sign, and we're going to click on the balance of trade first. And because we see that the invisible balance is a positive balance, you're going to put plus and click on the invisible balance and then hit your enter key. If you notice, the balance of payment 2 and balance of payment 1, though they have two different formulas, come to the same answer. And so that is simply how you would calculate all three of those calculations. Now the easiest way to complete this chart is to simply click and drag, and the formula will carry over from year 2, 3 to 4. However, I want you to practice calculating each of the formulas, and so you will simply put each formula into each cell so that you can practice calculating the balance of trade, the invisible balance, and the balance of payments, both formulas. I hope this makes this assignment a little more easier for you. Enjoy.